Okay, thank you, Damola. You're all welcome to today's session. As we all know, this is the Microsoft 365 Nigerian community again, and then we are here to continue the Microsoft Teams series. And in today's session, we'll be having an interactive session with the presenter in the person of Abdulazeez, and then with other leaders of the community and other experts that are also here. So I welcome you once again to this session. And as usual, I would like to run us through the housekeeping rules. I would like us to always have all our mics turned off. You don't turn on your mic when you're not asked to speak. And then please, if you have any questions, all you need to do is raise your hand and then you'll be called upon to ask your questions. That would be at the end of the session, right? During the Q&A session. Yeah, so also please note that this video all the subsequent videos are available on our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter at ngm365. You can also check us out on LinkedIn for upcoming sessions, notifications about future sessions, and then about all the video sessions we've had before. And at this point, I will be introducing us to the speaker. You all know him, the person of Abdulazeez. He is a Teams expert, a subject matter expert in Microsoft Teams, and then with great level of experience working with Microsoft 365 support and administration. You're welcome, sir. Also, before I hand the mic over to him, I would like to also appreciate our patron, the person of Olajumoke Toriola. She is a patron of this community, and she has really contributed in a great way to this community to ensure that everything is in order. And we also have this session every Saturday. Also, I'd like to appreciate the leaders of this community, just to say thank you to them for coming up with such a great idea. It's basically to give back to the society what they've learned, what they know. So some of them pay money to learn some of these things, right? However, put the session together so that we can give back. Thank you so much. One of them is here, Tuji. Thank you. And then others too. So at this point, I'll say welcome to today's session again. Over to you, Mr. Abdulazeez. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, good day, everyone. It's nice meeting us here again. And if you're joining for the first time, thank you for joining and you're welcome. Okay, so again, my name is Abdulazeez. We've been together for quite a few sessions now, and we will be wrapping up the Teams application, like the usage, the functionality today. Looking at the interface, the Teams app interface itself, we're going to that's going to end today majorly, and starting from the next session is going to be majorly on the administration part of it, where we're going to be where the next trainer is going to be taking us through the admin center, the how to administer Teams. Now we've been looking at how to use Teams. First, I would like to apologize. I have my daughter here. She may want to possibly say one or two things during the course of the session as well. Okay, so from next session we're going to have our trainers taking us through the admin center, the administration of Teams, and where configuration of the policies are done, via the admin center, GUI, or via PowerShell. All those will be taken from our next session. So today, I would like to, okay, so what we are going to ensure today is we have an interactive session where we are going to possibly discuss on what we've learned so far about Teams. Then we wrap up the Teams application session with the few things that are left to be discussed. Then again, I would like to first ask if you have watched, or if you are in the previous sessions of Teams, like at the last three sessions, or you have watched those sessions, I would like you to signify by raising up of your hand, please. Anybody here? That would really help us to know, okay, so what level of participation are we expecting? So possibly do not have anyone that's joined the whole of the session, and we do not have anyone that has watched. Please, to understand Teams properly, especially if you are new to Teams, please try and check the sessions we had earlier. And if you've not been joining the sessions earlier as well for other technologies, please kindly check the recordings, and you should have full understanding of what have been discussed so far. If you go through the training from the beginning till the end of it, you should be able to have a very rounded understanding, intermediate level of 365, and you will be able to at least administer of 365 while you continue getting other things that you need while you work on the environment. So now I will like to share my screen. Let me know when you are able to see my screen, please. Able to see my screen, please? Am I audible, please? Hello?
Yes, you are. We can see your screen.
Okay, thank you for that confirmation. Okay, please get yourself prepared. We mentioned that we want to make this session as interactive as possible. Hence, you will need your participation. Please get prepared for that. Now, basically, so far what we've covered, talking of Teams, we've discussed what Teams is, what are the things that you need to do to be able to access Teams, which is for you to have a subscription that has Teams, which most of or all of the Microsoft's business, enterprise, all these applications, all these subscription include Teams, except you're possibly going for an add-on, like you just need extra online license, like things like that. So now, if you have gotten Teams license, the next thing is, how do you access Teams? You can access Teams via the desktop app or the web app. For the web app, you just need to log into teams.microsoft.com, or you go to office.com. Office.com is the homepage where you can access all the services available to you from your subscription on your subscription. Then if you want to use Teams on the desktop app, what you just need to do is to download Teams application, and then you install that. You will be able to use it on the desktop. You can also use Teams on your mobile devices. What you just need to do is to download Teams on your mobile device as well, and you will be able to use Teams on it. Also, we mentioned that Teams has dedicated devices for meeting rooms and other desktops like that. When we get to the administration part as well, we will see where we are able to see those dedicated devices if you've added them, where we're able to see them from Teams Admin Center, and how you can manage them. All those we should be addressed as well by coming trainers. Okay, so listen, really. Then we talked about, after accessing Teams, now the tabs that we have here. We have activity tab here where you can see the notification, the activities that have occurred or happened that involves you. There's an automation in a team that you have, or in a channel that you have, or somebody that mentioned you while chatting you up. You're going to get all this as a notification. You will see that in the activity tab. Then again, From the chat tab, that is where you can have your one-on-one chats, your group chats. As we explained that you can create a group chat. Okay, let's a moment. Let's ensure the experience from here before we move on to. Okay, so from our chat here, we discussed where we are able to make one-on-one chats. We were able to do the group chats. I think we had one group chat created the last time when we started the session. So then we talked about Teams tab where you can have you can have groups or is it teams created. Let's say you have in your organization, you have departments, you can create groups for each department. Then again, we talked about creating teams and channels, standard and private. Then also for channels as well, you can create private channel, public channel, and you can create shared channel. Then again, we moved onto the calendar tab. Now, the calendar tab, we talked about scheduling Teams meeting. We talk about, okay, you having your meet now, scheduling a meeting, scheduling webinar, and scheduling live events. These are the type of events you can schedule and things. Okay, so then we moved on to the call tab. Yes, that's good. Let me use this to explain something. Now from here now, this is what we can see from here. We are not able to see the dial pad. What do we call dial pad? And dial pad is what gives you that option to input the numbers you want to call. Let's say if you want to call +1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you cannot dial any number from here without a dial pad. So you need that dial pad to input those numbers. Now I'm not able to see those dial pad here. Now we talked about license the other time. Now what we mentioned is that for you to make calls in Teams, you have two types of calls. You have SIP calls and you have PSTN calls. Now, please, if there is any point you possibly feel I'm moving too fast or I need to buttress to call me back, I'm trying to just summarize what we've done in the previous sessions. Now, for the SIP call, what you're just doing is you're calling another user that is on Teams. The user might be in the organization or might be in a different organization. As long as the user is using Teams, you can call the user. That's using the user's Teams account. That's what we call SIP call. And then you can have a PSTN call. PSTN call are calls that you need to dial the user's number. Like for instance, now you have different service providers providing these services, and they have numbers that have been assigned to each user. Now, I may not even be using Teams at all, and I have a number, and I need to call someone that is using Teams, or someone that is using Teams need to call me. That is made available by the PSTN capability in Teams. Now, if you want to make a PSTN call, we mentioned that there are licenses. There are different setup for your phone system setup. Now, you can have your phone system setup with Microsoft completely. That is where you're going to need your Teams license, your Teams phone standard license, your Teams calling plan. And then Microsoft is going to provide the number you will need to use, and you will have a number, you assign a number, and you can make inbound calls, outbound calls, and receive inbound calls, even without you provisioning yourself for this calling capability, PSTN calling capability. There is no way you will be able to get inbound call because you do not have a number assigned to you. You can only make SIP calls, except through other means like auto attendance or call queue, which are going to be discussed.
How to get up because she took interest in the restaurants around there.
Okay.
So we went
I
to
join.
one restaurant. Anyway, I mean,
Mhm.
You have a question or contribution, please, John?
Oh, sugar. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
You're welcome. Okay, so talking about the PSTN call now. Okay, now if you want Microsoft to be your provider, we have some other locations where Microsoft are not do not have calling capability there in that region. where customer Microsoft cannot actually be a provider. Like for instance, now for China, Australia, like Australia now, you have Telstra there. You have some providers that are certified, and Microsoft recommend, oh, if you want to get calling capability here, you can use Microsoft Office 365 capabilities or subscriptions. You can use Teams, but you are based on possibly governmental policies or some policies for that region. You're not able to have Microsoft as a provider there, but then there are some certified provider that Microsoft will direct you to that. Okay, we're in this location, we're in this region, go to this particular provider to get your calling capability issue sorted out. Now, that's that for Microsoft calling, Microsoft being the service provider, providing the phone system capability. Now, the second option that we discussed the last time is direct routing. Direct routing is a phone system setup where you have your provider, third-party provider, providing, or let's say for organizations that have existing phone system, their existing on-prem phone system. Now they possibly wants to use Teams and they don't want to lose their existing phone system setup. They can bring it into Teams using direct routing. They just need to they need to ensure that their SBC is certified. They are using a certified SBC. Now, then another thing is if the third option that we mentioned now, sorry, for direct routing, we mentioned that for Microsoft being the service provider, you're going to need Microsoft Teams phone standard license and Teams calling plan. But for direct routing, what you just need is the phone system standard license. Now, the third option is Operator Connect. Operator Connect, we explain it that it's just like soft direct routing. The difference is that this time around, you do not have any, you might not have any existing on-prem phone system setup. You have a third-party provider that provides all the needs, the phone system need that you need that you have. Like you need phone numbers, you need anything that has to do with setting up your phone system. They will be the one to do all that. But you're just only bringing those numbers into Teams for you to be able to use that number with your Teams. Now, the only difference is that in direct routing setup, you definitely have your own on-prem phone system setup. But in Operator Connect setup, you're going to those on-prem setup that you need to have will be hosted by the third-party provider, and you will not need to have any on-prem any phone system setup to benefit from the PSTN capabilities and Teams. Then again, we mentioned that if Microsoft is your service provider, you got your phone numbers, you assign the numbers, you assign the licenses. One, you will not be able to assign phone number without assigning the licenses to the user. Now, after assigning the licenses to the user, you'll be able to assign a number to the user. Now, when you assign a number to the user, you are able to see that part. Now, from here, I'm not able to see that part because I do not have required license to assign. Now, I mentioned that I am using Microsoft as my service provider. Now, for PSTN capabilities, I have Teams license. I have Teams phone standard license, but I do not have Teams calling plan license. Without calling plan license, I will not be able to assign a number to myself. Hence, I'm not able to see the output here. Now, here is another tenant where we have all the required licenses. Microsoft as a service provider, the Teams license, Teams phone standard license, calling plan. And now I can make calls to any number. I can dial the numbers there. Now, we talked about one restriction as well. That restriction is that if you have, for calling plan, you have different licenses. You have domestic calling plan, you have international calling plan, you have now you have calling plan for specific regions. Now, if I have domestic calling plan, I cannot make call outside my region because it can allow me to make PSTN calls to like my region. Like if you have domestic and international calling plan, I can make calls to my local within my region and even outside my region. Now, if you have domestic calling plan and you do not have international calling plan and you need to make call outside your region, you need to get what we call communication credits. Communication credit is like a pool of credits where you just have, and whenever you do not have the credits to make a certain call, it picks from that credit to make the call. For instance, you need to make an outbound call to, if you are in US with your domestic calling plan, you need to make call to another region and you don't have international calling plan, but you have communication credit assigned to the user, then the user can make that call. That is going to be charged from the communication credit. Or perhaps there is always a limit to the outbound calls you can make with the calling plan, even with the domestic calls that you're making, PSTN calls. But many a times organizations do not exhaust that the limit, the pool, they do not know that there is a limit. But for those that make excessive calls, before the month runs out, it is renewed every month. It is not rolled over. If they exhaust that minutes in a month before the month ends, and they need to make calls, if they have communication credit, they can still continue to make domestic calling calls, and it's going to be charged on this communication credit pool. I hope we understand the explanation I made there. A yes, a no, an answer will be fine. Let me get an answer for my audience. Hello, am I still here? Oh, I'm just hello.
We are here.
Okay, Ajani John, Igwe Kelechi, Onyemafu Emmanuel, Damola, I will need our participation. Can we all signify
I'll
or
speak.
say something if you can hear me? Okay, please, John, go on.
I just
Yeah, I can hear
joined.
you.
So far so good. When you
I
were
hear you.
explaining the calling plan that we have, 3 calling plans: domestic calling plan, international, and communication credit. So far so good. Like I said, I just joined. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for confirming that you are hearing me as well. Okay, so for the calling plan, we actually have 2 types, if I want to put it that way: domestic and international calling plan. Communication credit is another license on its own. Communication credits can be used for more than just being a calling plan. Like for instance, if you need to make dial out numbers from your audio conferencing meeting, you possibly will need communication credits, or perhaps you want to use a call me feature from the Teams meeting. There's something we call call me feature from the Teams meeting. If you want to use that, you may need your communication credit as well. And also, for instance, we talked about phone numbers as well. The last session we mentioned that we have toll number and toll-free numbers. If you assign a toll-free number to a resource account, and you are making, okay, if you are calling a toll-free number, that is that call is not going to be charged. You're not going to be charged for that, depending on your service provider, however. But for that call, that it is going to be charged from the credit connection credit of the user that has the toll-free number. Like for instance, if I have a toll-free number assigned, if you are calling that toll-free number, you're supposed to be charged, but I will be charged because it's a toll-free number. Now, I need communication credit for that call to be successful. However, now we're having newcomers experience where you can make calls and you pay for them after the calls. But the normal experience is you need communication credits. Now, even that's one that we talk about newcomers experience. It is not like you're not being charged. It is just that instead of you having that credit and they're deducting your credit, you want to just make a call and charge me for the calls I make. Like charge post usage, not pre-usage this time around. So that's just the clarification I want to make on that. Now we are going to let me see. Application. Now, one thing I want to ask us is we have talked about having Teams desktop, Teams web application. Can anyone tell me how I can differentiate if perhaps I am on the desktop application of Teams or I'm on the web application? Anyone willing to tell me that, please? Like I'm lost. I need to know, am I on the desktop application or on the web application? How do I know, please? Kelechi, would you like to take that? I should call you Igwe.
Anyone, it's my name.
Okay.
Come
Okay,
again.
good.
Come again with your question.
The question is, how do I differentiate between Teams desktop application and web application? Like, how do I know if I'm actually on Teams desktop or web?
Anyway, frankly speaking, I'm just joining for today, so I'm not actually getting the full gist of what this course is all about. You understand?
Oh,
So
okay.
if I can remember, you were trying to say something like if you want to use the web, then you go on the address bar and type. Then if you want to use the application, you can download.
Thank you so much for that. You just joined today and you grabbed that. I really appreciate that. Okay, Emmanuel. We need math for Emmanuel. Can I help us with that?
Yes, sir.
Emmanuel.
So
Oh, thank
I'm
you
here.
so
I'm
much.
here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm here,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, so how do we differentiate between Teams desktop application and web application, please? Like, I just want to know. I am on Teams, but well, am I using web? I'm using desktop app. I want to know.
Oh, okay. You want me to explain that?
Like, how do I know if I'm on Teams web application or on Teams desktop application, please?
Okay. If you are on Teams web application, first of all, it goes to you use it on the website, you use on the browser. While the Teams desktop application, you install it on your workstation. So you access it through your workstation. While the web application, you access it through the website, through your Chrome browser or Explorer.
Oh, thank you so much. Ajani John, are you here as well? Hi, Ajani. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
Afternoon.
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon. Thank
Good
you.
afternoon.
I'm a first time. This is my first time joining. Yes, this is my first time joining this platform. So I heard about it. So I've not been able to participate until today because the network over here is very, very floppy. So in fact, I can barely hear, but I'm just trying to strain my ears because I've been disconnected and connected. The production, I'm not really getting 100% of what I should be getting, but I'm still trying my best to grab one or two information.
I apologize for that.
Class.
Apologize for that. Okay. Okay then. Thank you so much. Damola, are you there?
Yes. Okay. So, like you said, I think when you're on the web, you're using the browser, and if you're using the application, it's already installed on your computer already on the drive.
Thank you so much for that. John, again, do you have any contribution?
It's same as others have contributed. Web is browser, and desktop is you download it as an app on your
Can I say something? Sorry, can I say something?
Yes, please, you can go ahead. Hi, Ajani, you can go ahead, please.
Is it me? Oh. Okay, so for what I understand, you were asking how do you know whether you're using Teams or web browser or something. So, okay, for what I know, I think Teams is an application on its own that needs to be downloaded and then you can explore. So web like the other guy said I think you use that based on maybe sort of like a web browser like a Mozilla or a Chrome that you have on your. So it's quite different from Teams, an app where you enter, you explore with You know, where you do so many things at once on your Teams application. So if I'm correct, please. I don't know.
Thank you so much. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ajani. Thank you, Damala. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Igwe. I appreciate your contribution. Okay, so you have all what you all said is right. Yes. Now, okay. So basically, Ajani, Teams is an application. Yes, you can access it on the web, and you can access it on your desktop application. Like you can install the desktop application and you can access it on the web without installing. Now, this is one of the beauty of Teams, or let me say Office 365, is that you can access it on the go. Like imagine if perhaps you have an installed application on your system and you are working on it, then you need to go out you don't need to do anything at that point. You went out. Perhaps you are staying extensively where you went to, or perhaps you need to quickly work on what you installed. Like then you realize that, well, it is installed on your system and the system is at home. You have to hurry back home and, oh, let me hurry back. I need to meet up with this timing. I need to work on this. I need to do this. But then you can just access this on the go. You do not need to have that application system that you installed it on. You can access it on the website. Now, if you just sign into your website, at any point you're signing with your own account, you are able to access your Teams exactly where you left it. If perhaps you've been working on the desktop and you're making some editing, you're doing some things on the desktop app, and you sign in on the web app, where you left it on the desktop app is where you're going to meet it on the web app. So basically, the major difference between the Teams desktop application and web application is that for Teams application, you install it. You're going to install the application itself. But for the web, just have to go to the browser. And if you look at this, at the interface here, I'm not seeing anything like a URL for Teams or anything like that, or for a website. I'm not seeing any URL above here. But if you're using the web application, you are definitely going to be seeing that URL. Here we have teams.microsoft.com, speed tab, call tab. So if perhaps you want to sign into Teams on the web, just go to teams.microsoft.com. So you can see that you can see that you are on the browser. From here, I can decide to open a different tab and do something else. But on the desktop application, it's just Teams application. Just like you can access other like Office suites now, you can access Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can access all these on your installed application, and you can access them on the web as well. So that is the difference between the Teams desktop application and the Teams web application. I hope we get that explanation, please. Yes. Is it fine? Yes. Okay. So now moving on, I believe we understand that. Now, another thing that I want you to possibly notice that as an application, we have a lot of applications that we do not possibly know the usage except for what we are using them for. We may have some people that are familiar with Teams. Well, Teams is just like other social media platform. You can use it to chat, you can use it it's even limited. You cannot even do as much as that is possible because you do not possibly know what Teams entails. Teams is a service, the technology where basically all my work that I am doing like I'm a full-time revolves only around Teams. Definitely Teams work with other services as well. But if I'm working on Teams and what is giving me an issue is not even within Teams, perhaps I'm trying to edit a document or open a document in Teams that is not working, and I know this document is stored in SharePoint. I just have to go to SharePoint. Is this document opening there? It is not opening there. Then it's not my problem again. I throw it out to those that owns where the document resides. So everything I do for a living revolves around Teams. And you know that if it is not worthy, or but if it does not have, if it's just like, what is it? How will I be working and earning like a full time from it? So it has a lot of advantages and a lot of benefits. If you explore Office 365 and you explore Teams, you understand better and you know, oh, what are the things that Teams actually entails. So I want to implore us that we go through the previous sessions that we had earlier. So that's like we are talking about the usage of Teams, usage, and this is the 4th session. We've not even entered the administration at all. So please try and get to watch those recordings so you have the better understanding of, okay, so this is what they're talking about. This is what the session is about. This session, I'm actually here because I want you to leave here with something. You should have added value to yourself before you leave this session. So let's ensure that anytime we join the session, let's pick 1 or 2 things. And if you are not getting it, please you can ask questions and you can ask, okay, so about this, I wasn't getting this one, then we can give more in-depth explanation or try to explain it in a different way that is going to benefit us all. Okay, that said, we're moving on. Now we're still on the call tab. Now on the call tab, here we can see personal and contacts. We have explained that you can dial
Sorry,
numbers
I
from
have a
here.
question.
Yes, please go
Hello?
ahead.
Okay, if I set up a Teams meeting and I want people to join, would I be able to access or see how they joined if they joined via internet, that's via the web or via the desktop?
Okay, so one, if you're using Teams, you need internet service. Now, let me say this is applicable to all Office 365 services. However, like for instance, now you can have your Word application, you can have your Excel installed. As long as you are signed in, if you have desktop application, you work on them, it is saved on your local hard drive or local PC. And anytime you connect to the web, you are connected to the internet, it syncs and you are able to access them on the web as well. Now, for Teams, you cannot use Teams at all without connecting to the internet, because you cannot use Teams desktop application without having access to internet. And for Teams on the web, you cannot even access the web browser. You cannot use the web browser without having internet access. So now, if you join a meeting, back to your question, if you join a meeting, you will be now there are different ways of types of users joining to answer the question. Now, if I join a meeting now, if you look at the screen here, you will see that we have us with guest in front of them. Yeah, let me come here. There are various reasons when why you see, you can see this is external, while you see guests. Now, if you are joining a meeting from you sign in to Teams, you're joining from Teams, you will be shown as external. Now, if you are joining as a guest, let's assume I'm joining with my Gmail account, I'm joining with my this account, it's going to show me as a guest because I do not have Office 365 accounts within this organization, and I'm not signing in Office 365 accounts. That is why it will show as guest. Now, if you are joining as anonymous user, that's it's going to show you as guest as well. That's where you will be able to add a name when you are joining. Now, back to your question directly, how you will be able to know it is not about is the user joining from the Teams desktop application or the web application. It will not show that. What it will show you is that is the user joining an internet user or is the user a guest to your organization. So it will not show you this user is joining with Teams application or web application. Now, if you want to possibly do, if there are instances where you need more insight as to, okay, the device the user used to join, from which location the user joined and the likes, that is where we can talk more on some other things you can do Now, if you go to Azure Active Directory, you have some details you can see for the user that joined. If you have your Teams attendance reports, you can see some information for the user that joined. So there are a few other things that you can still do when it comes to getting data for those that joined the meeting. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Okay, so now moving on. We're talking about this. We have call history. Now, the calls you made or you received in Teams, you can see them here. And for these are the calls. You can see that you have incoming call for call queue. Now, let me quickly use that to explain a bit what call queue or auto attendant is. Now, we have in organizations, we have receptionists. For instance, let's say for receptionists that attend to call in an organization, any call that comes in. Now, they will not be the one to direct that call into the specified or required department or user or anyone. Now, if you are calling the company number, those recipients are added into a queue. The call is just like you're calling the service provider. Let me use Nigeria, for instance. Now, if you have an issue with your number and you're calling the service provider, the number that you dial is going to be picked up by an agent. If you call that number again within a few seconds after dropping the first one, you might not be able to speak with that person. If you call 10 times, you may be speaking with different agents. Now, what we have is a queue. You have a number assigned to a queue. You have agents in that queue. If any user calls the queue number, it rings and anyone from the queue, any agent in the queue picks the call. That is what we call queue. That is just an explanation of what a call queue is. Now, auto attendance is if perhaps now you have for your organization, you have HR departments, you have IT departments, you have legal office, you have this, you have that. If you want to make a call into that organization and you want to go specifically to the HR, you already have the number that if you are calling the company number, dial 1 to speak with the HR. If you want to speak with the legal advisor, dial 2. That is after calling the company's number. Now you're going to use auto attendance to fulfill that requirement. Because in auto attendance, you can set up your dial option where you can have those that the call can be routed to. You can route the call from that auto attendant to another call queue. You can route the call to department based on what you've configured in the auto attendant. Okay, if anybody calls and they want to speak with anyone in finance, press 1. If they press 1, it goes to the finance department. That finance department might be a queue. Now, anyone in the finance department can now pick the call. Or perhaps it is routed to a particular person in that finance department, depending on the configuration, which we should all see during the course of coming sessions. Okay, so that's why this user has been added as an agent in the call queue. That's why we can see incoming call for call queue. Now you can see missed calls, and incoming calls as well. Outgoing calls as well. You're able to see all that. That is the call history. Now for contacts, then let me under here, you can see we have speed dial, other contacts. For speed dial, you can add numbers that perhaps you know that I call these people often. You can add the number, you can add them here. Let me just say I have, this person is not here. I think I called Amsol often. Is Amsol here? Oh, Amsol is not here. Oh, I think I should have Abdulazeez. Oh, I cannot see this person. Now the contact that you already have, you can add them as speed dial because these users, you call them often and you will not need to start looking for them every now and then. You can just add them in your speed dial. Okay. Now for your contacts, you can add contacts. Here, let's say, okay, Abdulazeez wasn't in my contact list. So let me add Abdulazeez in my contact list. Oh, okay. I'm not able to see this user. Add what company, what phone number. If I had the phone number and I say add, I'm able to see this user here. So anytime I come to the call tab, just click on the contacts, then I can make the call. Now let's see if this person I want to add to the speed dial. Please. This person is still not showing. This person is not within an organization, even I've set that contact. Now, one thing you should know about Teams is this. There are a lot of instances when you make a change or you make any changes in Teams, it might take some time to take effect. So if you make any changes and you're sure that this is how it should work and it is not working, just give it some time. You can sign out, sign in again, give it some time, check back. That is one thing about Teams. That is why when you get to the administration part, we talk about configuring policies. There are instances where you will be told that it is better to use PowerShell to configure the policies, because when you use PowerShell, it takes effect earlier than when you're using the GUI. So if you have contacts in your organization, you are able to add those contacts as your under your speed dial for you to be able to dial those numbers. Now your contacts from Outlook also syncs to Teams, so you don't need to go to Outlook to start looking for those contacts before you're able to make calls to those contacts. And we mentioned in the previous session that this number here, we talked about you having a number either using calling plan, direct routing, or operator connect, and you have the number assigned to yourself. Now that instance, you have a number assigned to yourself. How do I know the number I have assigned to myself? Now you have, this is the number that is assigned to you. This is your number. When I showed us earlier from here that, okay, from here, I cannot see any, what's it called? I'm not able to see any dial pad, and hence there is no way I will see a number. Then again, if you look at this call icon is grayed out. Can anyone tell me why this call icon is grayed out? Anyone, please? Hello, John. Hello, Janet. Hello, everybody.
It's not
You don't have any number in there on the dial pad.
Okay. John, you're saying something?
I said it's not active. Means it's not active.
Yes, it's not active. Why is it not active? Yeah. My daughter is actually responding here as well. Okay, now the reason why it's not active is because I think that they add you. You make your, yes, I know. Okay, basically the I do not have any number I want to dial here. Immediately I have a number I want to dial here, then this call icon became active. But now that I do not have any number dial that I've inputted, then the call icon is not active. So that's it. That's the call button. Now, there is something I wanted to mention about this. Oh, I forgot. Okay. Perhaps I remember. I will come back to it. So now, talking about that, before moving on, okay, let's move on. I'll come and talk about, please, if I forget, remind me, I want to talk about these settings in the profile picture here. These settings, please, if I do forget, remind me. Okay, so now, after we've just discussed about the activity tab, the chat tab, the Teams tab, the calendar, the call, now, as I mentioned earlier, we have discussed that Teams, you can integrate other applications, including your custom applications. You can integrate it with Teams and work on those applications in Teams. Here now, we have apps that you can integrate with Teams. Like for instance, now I have Viva Connect, I have Shifts. Now in organizations, we have some third-party applications that undo shift management. Basically, what they want to do is
Can you
my
go back?
shifts.
Sorry, I don't know what you clicked. What did you
Okay,
click?
so basically, I just clicked on the 3 dots here.
Okay.
When you open your Teams, this is the default settings you have in Teams. However, you can see some instances you will not be seeing the call tab, or perhaps the calendar tab is before the call tab here. And you might see that this Teams application here is also not where it is here. You can see calendar where the Teams app is. You can see chat where many other thing is. Now there are policies for that as well. Now, if you pin these applications have been pinned here, and there is a setting in Teams Admin Center where you pin those apps. The way you pin them that determines the way they will appear here. Now, after we've discussed about these tabs, now the next thing is that if you need to possibly work on any other application, or you need to work on any other maybe it's either custom application or an application within Office 365, and you need to integrate it into Teams, you want to pin it, you can just come to the three, you can see more added apps. You can click on apps here to see the apps that you have access to that you can use here. Now you can see apps built with Power Platform. You can see popular apps on Teams. You can see what's new. You can see topic. You can see different topics. Now, if I'm talking about agriculture, Teams, app, okay, these are apps that are in line with what topic we're talking about. Now, we have users or we have organizations that have apps developed to meet their own need. We call these custom apps. If they are not available for you in Teams, you can integrate them into Teams. You just upload your custom app and you are able to use it in Teams. So now, talking of these three dots now, I just click on for me to see there has these apps, it's there. I just, after clicking out of call or from anywhere I am, I just click on the apps. Now, if you click on these three dots, you can see I have task by planner, I have shifts. Now, as I was talking about shift management before, your shift starts from this time to this time. The other person picks it up from this time to this time. You can some organizations using manual approach, they will have a roster, they will write on it. Your time is to this time, your time is to this time, your time is to this time. You can use shift application in Teams to manage your shifts. You can use OneNote. OneNote is a standalone application with Office 365, and you can use that OneNote within Teams. You can integrate that into Teams. Now, let's say I want to be using, it's not that you're even integrating it, it's already available here. Let's say I want to use OneNote here. I just clicked on it, and it is here now. Previously, I can see the visual connection and files. Now, if I need to use it, just click on these three dots, and here they are. I don't want to see you here again. I possibly don't need to use your phone. I just compare, and it is not showing as part of this recent files I use, like recent apps I use or apps I use most frequently. So if there is any app that is, we have what we call Teams App Store. This takes you to the Teams App Store so that you're able to check what app is available. What app is available to meet your need? Like you do not have any custom application, but you have a need. You just come here, join Ed sector. You just move down and see do you have anything? Healthcare, like okay, I can see this. Okay, what do I need actually? Oh, booking. Oh, okay, yeah, booking is here, but that is not what I actually need now. Oh, there's HR service bot. Oh, yes, my HR actually need. Okay, let me see what this does. Click on it. You can add, and there are some of these applications that are built by third party, but are uploaded on Teams services. Some of them you will have to pay for them because they are not part of the Office 365 service that you subscribe for. And some of them are available for you to try for a month, while some of them are available for you to use for free. We'll understand how these things work. So now, okay, you see this. Now I'm not interested in using that. Okay, I checked on any other one if there's anyone that interests me or that meets my need. Now, if I do not have anyone that meets my need here, then I think of creating or a custom application. Now, if I create a custom application or develop a custom application, the next thing is to integrate that into Microsoft 365, or let me say into Teams, so that I can use that custom application in Teams. Now you can see manage your apps here. You do not have the apps that you need. You can upload an app. Upload an app, you have possibly gone through certain things and you have uploaded that app in your Office 365. As an admin, you can upload an app without approval from others. Upload an app to your organization's app catalog, submit an app to your organization. So these are options that are available for you when you're talking about having your own custom application. You can have a bot, you can have a connector, you can have anything that you have. There are requirements. There are certain set of information that you need to check to see what are the things you need to do if you need to upload or integrate a custom app in Teams. Now, this is where we talk about you having your needs being met by Teams, because you do not necessarily need to have it on Teams. Like, let's say it is existing, it is in existence. No, you can bring in your own solution. If you do not find the solution that you want here, or you possibly do not see anyone that suits exactly that you do, or you possibly want to have, yeah, another person can have access to this, but I want to have something that I only can have access to. And perhaps if you have if you develop an application and you want people to benefit from it, you want it to be available for use on Teams, you can upload it on the Teams App Store after checking and meeting all the requirements. Now, these are the things that makes you see that, oh, well, Teams is actually very robust and it can take care of a lot of the needs we have of our organizational need. So now you can see an app icon here as well, where you can, if you click on this training, you get some certain information, certain materials for you to train yourself. Topics, you can go to topics to see certain topic if you are interested in. Let's click on topics, and you're able to see from here certain topics, or you want to possibly search for a topic. Share your screen. Okay, if I want to share my screen or change my background, okay, how do I do that? Now get started on the charts and the likes. Perhaps I need training on certain things. I can search from here, or perhaps I just check what are the available training here. Create team with templates. Oh, okay, work with external guests. Oh, that is very useful for me. Chat and share files. Now, these are information. We have video documents, we have written documents that you can use to get yourself equipped, trained, advance your knowledge. Now, going back to app, you can see give feedback as well. Perhaps you have used Teams and you're satisfied, or you possibly have a recommendation. You can do that and you submit it. So now, after explaining all that, you click on this, you can download desktop application from here, because I am on the web application now. I can see this download desktop application, like recommending to me, perhaps I need to download desktop application. Instead of me looking for where to download, I can just click on this to download desktop application. Now, let us go to the Teams settings. I talked about settings the other time. Now, for me to go to settings in the Teams application, there are some things that I only can manage for my accounts from my Teams application. And there are some things that admin can manage from the admin center. Am I able to make calls or not? Admins can control that. Am I able to upload file or not? Admins can control that. But there's some things that you can actually control. And there are some things that you can actually control because the admin have enabled that setting to say, allow this user to control this. Meaning that there are some settings that admins have control over, but they still have the option to say, leave these settings to the user. Allow the user to make changes. That is still being controlled by admin. And there are some that you have complete control over them. Now, talking of the settings now, I click on how do I go to settings of Teams application? I just have to go to the profile picture here. I can click on the profile picture, I will see settings, or I click on the 3 dots beside the profile picture. Now, before I go there, talking of the profile picture, you can upload a profile picture of your choice. This MA is just initial for my first name and last name. If I want to, I can just click on the profile picture. Well, here we have, and I can say upload or remove, depending if I have a picture, I can remove it. If I want to upload another one, I can upload it. Now, if you're trying this out, you may possibly upload a profile picture and you are able to see it in your Teams. But when you call someone, the person is telling you they are saying something different. Or perhaps you are chatting a user, you come here, you are chatting a user, and when you if you click on, let me go to manual. Here I can see high here, and if I click on it like this, I don't need to click on it. I just take my mouse, shows high here. In some instances, you can see high in the profile picture there, but here you see a different picture here. Or perhaps you're calling someone, the person is not seeing your profile picture that you have uploaded and that you have seen. When it comes to profile picture in Teams or certain information in Teams, like you change the display name of the user or you change the UPN of the user, it might take up to 28 days or up to 60 days in some instances, like depending on what changes you made before that changes sync across board. Like for some users, within few days, you can see that, yes, I can see it, I can see it, I can see it there. While for some, you might not see it that early. While some instances, you think everything is sorted until somebody says, oh, I'm not able to see your profile picture on this. Just check. Profile picture was uploaded when? Last 55 days. Just give it 5 more days. Most of the time, it gets resolved before the 60 days. But then, before you can say you want to even troubleshoot anything, you have to ensure, okay, I wait for the 60 days. Basic things in it you can do to help. You can clear cache, do that and that. It helps sometimes. So that's just an information for us. Now, going into the settings, if I click on settings here, before going into the settings, actually, if I click on these 3 dots, I can see, I can about from here, I can see the version of Teams. Now, to check what sometimes they'll ask you, what version of Teams are you using? Can you upload to this particular version or something? I mentioned earlier that Teams auto updates. Teams version automatically updates. It is not like you would be the one to start, and this is applicable to all other services in Office 365. You do not need to start looking for what is the current update. Now you have Office 2013 installed. I need to go and install 2016. Oh, there's another one. I need to go and install that. I need to have this and that. No. If you're having your subscription, all these are taken care of. Your services, your applications are updated whenever there's an update. Teams version gets updated automatically. Now, how do you check Teams version and how do you update the Teams version? Perhaps you observe that your colleague have a recent update but has not gotten to you because certain features, when deploying the certain features, imagine Teams is being used all over the world, and if there is an update, everyone is expected to get them. They will not just get those updates at once. Like not everyone will see that updates at the same time. There are plans, there are ways Teams updates or features are being deployed. We have sometimes it is going to be deployed based on regions. You can say, oh, EMEA regions, or you say the NOAM region are getting this, or the US gets it, like that, depending. Or you can say based on rings. Oh, sorry, a minute. There is what we call rings in Microsoft. Like if you are Microsoft employee or Microsoft product team that you are developing the services, the ring that you have is different from the user that is just using it. So when they want to deploy, they start the deployment from, okay, a particular ring, internal users, they'll get down to the general users. So that is how things is being deployed. So perhaps you may see a feature for another user and it is not available for you. that is just an information of that. So yes, maybe. Okay, so then going to the click here about version. You'll be able to see the Teams version that you have. Here I have 1.6.00.2000.20074, which was last updated on the 9th, few days back. Now, if I need to check, and I check another person's one, I saw that, oh, it was updated a few days back. But my one still shows July updates. I can just check for updates and see if perhaps I can manually do the updates before it actually gets to me. Okay, moment it's updating. Yes. Now, to do that, I just click on that again. Now I click on check for updates. You can see we will check and update you. Install any updates that we found. I'll find continue the work. If you want to download the mobile app, here we have. Now, you want to go to settings now. Now, right here we have this general information. Show messages preview in your chat list. Now, you can see this auto start application. Sometimes you have users that complain that my Teams, whenever I open my system, Teams will just start up. I don't want it. I want it to be called before it shows itself. You can just disable auto start here. You can, okay, open application in background. On close, keep this. You can check this at your own time. These are things that you can control in Teams without the admin doing that for you. And if you look at the accounts page, now this is your account. If you have any other application where they've invited you as a guest, organization where they've invited you as a guest, and you can access anything you've been added to, you will see those organizations right here. So that is that's under accounts. For privacy. Now let me just go to from here. Now you can manage, you see, block contacts. If perhaps you are getting spam calls, there's other settings for spam calls as well. Now, if you are getting calls, unwanted calls, and it is too frequent, you want to block that call, you can block, you can edit block contact list and add blocked contacts. From your call, I think I'll go back there. I'll show you how to block contacts. Block calls with no caller ID. If you're calling and it's just a number, no caller ID. Caller ID shows, okay, the name of the person or any information about the person. If it has nothing, block it. So meaning if a call does not have any identity, do not allow that call into my to get to me. So you can also check read receipts. If you send a message to someone, if you look underneath here, this thank you has been marked. If it has been read, it is going to show differently if that person has read receipt option. Then read receipt, let me finish with this and I'll show something about that. Identify means attendance reports. I talked about attendance reports earlier. If you have a meeting and you download attendance reports, if you enable it from the admin center, you can see attendance reports for those that joined the meeting, the time they spent in the meeting, when they joined, and when they left. And also, a moment, please. Okay, so also, you can now this one, I explained that admin can allow you to make certain changes. This identify me in attendance report, admin can, after enabling attendance reports for Teams, they can say, allow users to be identified, to choose either to be identified in Teams attendance report or not. Because that has been done 2 years, that is why I'm able to see this option here. Else, it will be grayed out for me. So then you can check now notifications. You can set what are the things you get notification for. If you have chats, you get notification for them. Team, what type of notification that you get, you can configure them from here. Devices, then let's say files and link. here you have this option to say open Word or this document, Office document in Teams, meaning that if you have a document in Teams, if you click on it, it is going to open directly in Teams. If I say desktop app, automatically when you click on that document, it opens in the Documents desktop app. Like for instance, if you're trying to open a Word document from Teams and this is set to desktop app, it is going to open on the Word application that you installed on desktop app for Word. And if you say browser, if you have this browser set, automatically any file you click on in Teams opens in the browser. So this is for that, and always ask where to save download files. If you want to download something from Teams, it is going to ask you if you have this enabled. If you don't have it enabled, it's going to always save in the download folder, except you change it here. So you can see that you have a lot of things you can manipulate here. You can change here. You can change where download or your files that are being downloaded are saved. Then for calls as well, this call rings me means that any call that comes in rings me directly. If you don't want the call to ring you, you can say forward my calls. If any call comes in, don't ring me. Just forward that call to depending on what you want. Now, let me go and check this. You can see from here, when I click on forward my calls, all incoming calls will be forwarded to your voicemail. That is what it says. Okay, so let me go here. Settings, calls, forward my calls, forward to. Now you can say I have the option to say forward to voicemail, new number, or call group. That is because I have certain licenses here that I do not have on that the other account. If you look at this account where I can see voicemail, a new number, call group, you can see it's a different account when compared to the account I used to sign in on this one. You can see it's AB here and it's MA here. So that is why I have different options. I need to have enterprise voice enabled and have my calling capability enabled on Teams before I am able to see those options. So can just explore all these, and I think at this point I'll be dropping for this at this point. And if you have any questions, you can ask. And for this, try the new Teams. There is a new Teams 2.0, not about the version now, Teams 2.0 that has been released. If you want to try that, you can just click on try new Teams. If you have Windows 11, it comes with it automatically. Thank you so much for joining this session today. If you have any question, please, you can ask now. And if you have any contribution, you can come in now. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Is it
You're welcome.
Yeah. Is there a way I can get some of the materials for the last or previous classes so that I will be more updated? Do you get the question?
Yes, I do. Joshua?
Okay.
Yes, you can. There
So
is a
how can
YouTube
I-
link that will be shared. I think the moderator will take care of that.
Okay.
Okay, Igwe, thank you for joining the session today. Right, we have a YouTube channel where all the videos, even today's video, is being uploaded to. So I'll share the channel so that you can get the previous sessions video and even other technologies that have been taken care of for now.
All right, that will be okay.
Yeah, thank you. Any other question? So Kelechi, check the chat for this session. You would see the YouTube channel there, as posted by Emmanuel. So kindly go through that.
Okay, let me check. Okay, I'll see it.
Yeah, I'm posting it again, so you can just look through. And every other person too, you can always check out the YouTube. You can subscribe. You can also subscribe and then turn on your notification so that when the new videos are being released, you can also get a notification for that. So, any other person? Joanne, Michael, Ayimafu, you have questions?
Oh, I don't have a question. I don't have a question. Just a thank you message. Just saying thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Is this
Okay,
where today's session ends?
yes, please. So thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for your time,
Thank you.
guys. Really appreciate
Thank you,
your
Mr.
presence.
Abdulazeez. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Abdulazeez, the speaker. At this point, I'll be bringing the session to a close. We would meet next week again, the same time, 4 to 5 p.m. West African time. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye for now.